Congressman, man, you and I spoke last Tuesday, and it's like we went through another, I don't know, time warp of. It's so strange what's happening in our country right now, especially with what happened last Wednesday. And I think that's a good spot to start. Your thoughts?
Oh, there's so much to discuss about that. I mean, the day now the fact that we did the same thing Democrats did in 2000, 2005, and 2017. Somehow we incited a riot by doing that. The people that came in. I will just say this: they're going to be apprehended. They're going to be prosecuted, and they should be. Mm-hmm. And I condemn all of the violence. But here's the thing: not only did they do violence and everything they did, they have basically destroyed our message, our cause.
Yeah.
They have given a narrative to Democrats, and you should see. I've been watching the Rules Committee debate on this resolution this morning. They have given them a different narrative where before they were having to basically defend a process, the electoral process in and of itself. Now what they're doing is they're basically saying anybody that was involved whatsoever that felt that there were anomalies in the election, that there was an election integrity issues that needed to be resolved, are now riot inciters. And so I hope they understand that not only did they engage in criminal conduct where people died, but they also undermined the very cause that ostensibly they were supporting.
Yeah, and Congressman, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. It was like, here you have maybe 100,000 people who showed up, and I got really concerned and am really concerned that at any level, whether it be your local council, you say as an elected representative or an advocate, hey, come on out. You should be. I hope you'll help me oppose item X, Y, and Z. That's going to be harder for people to do in the future. Because if something that may happen, and you and I agree, and I think the majority of the country agree, bad actors got in there and did horrible things and should be held responsible. And a lot have already been arrested. But I'm worried now what this means for our republic going forward.
No, you're exactly right. When you think about that thing, so I've gone back and I've read what President Trump said. I've looked and examined timelines. And they don't match up, but the bottom line is, he said, be peaceful, be patriotic, go over, cheer for people who support us, But I have 3 pages of statements that Democrats have made over time. Cory Booker, go get up in the face before you go home today. Get real. Go get in the face of these Congress people. Go up to the Hill. I mean, those types of things. You won't be able to say anymore, because if you do, you're going to be inciting a riot. Although legally, I will say this: legal scholars agree that President Trump did not incite a riot. That language does not fall into that. But Democrats don't care, and this is always about what it can be, the political narrative. What will that look like? And the Democrats have now taken over that narrative that we actually had them back on their heels with, and so. These people are going to be prosecuted, I'm sure. A lot of arrests have already been made, but these, to attack the Capitol Police was ridiculous, and I mean, just that's just one of the thoughts I have on this, Jeff. I mean, there's so many thoughts. I know about this stuff.
Yeah, I know, and here's what I was thinking about, and folks talking with Congressman Andy Biggs. Here we have just several days really left of Trump's presidency. And we've heard Joe Biden talk about bringing the nation together. And maybe there was an opportunity to do this shortly after what happened last Wednesday. But now people are dealing with the parlor issues, the censorship. They're dealing with now, two articles of impeachment, the impeachment number 2, the second time here, plus the 25th Amendment. How is this going to bring anything together? If anything, they're rubbing more salt in it. What's their hope now with these articles of impeachment? Let's start with that.
Well, the article with the articles of impeachment, their professed statement is it's dangerous to have Donald Trump as the president, even though that they know that the Senate would not even have time to do anything on this and before.
There's 8 days. There's 8 days.
Yeah, there's 8 days. So that's what they're saying, and all of it is just, it's crazy. So the real motivations that you begin to think about is, and it almost looks coordinated. I mean, you think about this. So this happens, and all of a sudden you have these big companies where they give some money to Republicans. They say we're not going to support Republicans anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
You have the social media people saying we're shutting down President Trump. Not only are we shutting down President Trump, we're going to go after Nunes and anybody else, and we're going to kill Parler if we can, because the conservative movement has found out that Parler's available. So now people are going to go to Gab and Parler. You're going to have to do both.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really coordinated. You have them trying to destroy Trump and his family. So banks are now saying, well, you can't do business with us anymore. We're not going to hold your accounts. This is, and the Democrats are saying, this is all Trump's fault for inciting a riot. I mean, that isn't where this is. The 25th Amendment issue, you need to understand, even though he's changed the language, it was originally introduced, a version of this, not the same, but a version of this also under Article 2, Section 4, was introduced, or under the 25th Amendment, Section 4, was introduced on October 9th and signed by 42 Democrats. So they have been after President Trump since before his election. And so this is just more of the same. It is just more and more of the same. And by the way, you want irony, or I hope he was being sarcastic, but the sponsor of this bill in the Rules Committee just a few minutes ago said he thought that this would actually help heal America and bring us together.
That's not what I'm feeling. And, I spoke at an event in Williams this past weekend, great group of folks out there. And I was shocked at how many people, I got to be honest, Congressman, I was shocked how many people showed up. I thought people were going to be demoralized and it was going to be a very small group I'd be speaking to. It wasn't. And people are very concerned, especially the Parler issue, the censorship issue. You and I might be speaking by ham radio here in a couple of weeks. I don't know. I hope you're set up. Everybody's concerned now because, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, all of this kind of coming together. And people are saying, oh, you should have read the terms and conditions, the rules or whatever. But is it more than that? And I know it's the Section 230 or whatever. It seems like, is there any hope of changing this now that the Democrats are going to be in control?
No, because the big tech are partners of the Democrats. They're partners of the Democrats. This goes back. Our failure in 2020, and this is why you have to have a long-term view of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Our failure in 2020 is a direct result of the failures of Congress in 2017 and 2018 pre-election, and those failures include everything from failing to repeal Obamacare and keep that promise as we said we would do, to not taking care of Section 230, not taking care of the antitrust issues. And that's what you're seeing, in my opinion. You're seeing Apple and Amazon, and they're basically they're exercising violations of antitrust law. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, okay. So there's all kinds of stuff there that should have been done, and our failure today is a failure from the past, and so we have to look forward, not backwards. Isn't that
a mass difference between the Democrats and the Republicans? You had 2 years there of total control, and I know I was talking about it. It's like, you got to get something done, and we don't want to push too hard. We don't want to do this. The Democrats, so they're going to come in and steamroll, I think. I mean, over the next 12 months. Am I wrong here?
No, I think you're right. I mean, so if you want to know how right you are, the fact that we're having the fact that we're having a 25th Amendment discussion, followed by an impeachment trial that will take 1 day in the House. They're not going to even send this to committee or anything. This is just going to ramp through. And don't forget, they were trying to do the 25th Amendment thing yesterday by unanimous consent while all of the Republicans were out of town because they said, we're on recess, so nothing will happen at that session. Well, then they decided to just throw that in there. Fortunately, I was able to get some of my Freedom Caucus guys to get down there and to object, so we can at least have a debate and a vote on this tonight. Mm-hmm. That indicates to me, and then you look at the rules that they did last week. That indicates to me, those things there indicate to me they're going to put pedal to the metal and try to steamroll conservatives and Republicans out of existence. They want a single party rule.
Does this, for the future, for those folks that I met up with that you're probably hearing from too, Congressman Biggs, does this not bode well for the conservative movement, which I think I know the answer to that, and the Republicans, because there's a lot of people saying, I want to get out of the Republican Party. It's not conservative enough for me. How does that look going forward?
Well, I would say the Democrat Party is also subject to split too. But I mean, Republican Party is definitely subject to split. I mean, there's been too few of us who've stood up. And you watch on these votes, you watch how many Republicans are going to leave the conservative side and vote with the Democrats on this.
Oh yeah,
that's really a problem. And I'll just, man, I got to tell you, we got to we have to keep going forward. And I don't blame people for being fed up, but you can't abandon the field, and we can't abandon the field. We have to keep working at this thing, and
is it going to be hard though, Congressman? Because I mean, you're under tremendous pressure. Congressman Gosar, Congresswoman Lesko, Senator Ted Cruz. There's all these calls from the media and from people in Texas on, hey, he should resign. So do people want to stand up in the future? Is there any regrets from you going forward? I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, we right now my phones, for instance, are going off the hook, and there's not one person calling to say, hey, thanks for what you're doing. This is all they're out. They're mad that I objected, and that's not Republicans that are calling me. Mm-hmm. And then Jeff, while all this is going on, a picture surfaced of me and a number of my Republican colleagues sitting in that room during the lockdown without a mask. They are madder at me not wearing a mask during lockdown than me exercising a constitutional obligation to object to certain states' electors. That's what we're getting, and so it is, to me, it's absolutely mind-boggling where we are as a country today.
And finally, message to folks out there. We've seen the media reports and the FBI reports about maybe the 17th or the 20th. What do you have to say to folks out there as far as people that are frustrated that, might be protesting and doing things like that?
Well, you got to keep it peaceful. You cannot, anytime you're going to protest, this country welcomes peaceful protest, but we should all condemn violence that inures to rioting. And I've condemned it all summer long when Antifa and BLM were burning down the federal building in Portland, trying to lock people in, then burn it down, and all the other violence that was going on. Just like I condemned the violence last Wednesday. We can't tolerate this violence. What we have to do is we have to keep asserting ourselves for peaceful protests. And remember, that's going to get your message across far better than violence. And just like the president said today, I condemn violence, and I want peace. I want peace. We get peace, and we try to make our change that way.